How's it going, everyone? BHVR just released a developer update for August that's going to address a lot of the recent changes that came to the game. Now, if you had watched my video that came out a few days ago, I predicted that this was probably going to happen very soon. Now, even though the devs did say that they weren't going to make any knee-jerk reactions, it looks like that might not be the case anymore. So let's take a look at the changes. Earlier this month, we launched our largest balance patch to date, making changes to 40 perks, including the meta and various base game mechanics. With such a major shakeup, we have been keeping an extra close eye on feedback and performance since the update release to ensure that nothing gets out of hand. Now that we've had a chance to see how things play out, we have prepared our first follow-up round of changes to fine-tune the balance. Please note that the tweaks listed here are by no means the only changes we make. We'll continue monitoring and adjusting things based on your feedback. Hopefully not only our feedback. Alright, starting with Thanatophobia. Following the mid-chapter update, Thanatophobia quickly rose in popularity, and it's easy to see why. Between the increased numbers on the perk itself and the longer baseline generator repair times, Thanatophobia now slows down generators pretty significantly, particularly with killers who have an easier time keeping multiple survivors injured, like Plague and Legion. This could make Thanatophobia feel a little oppressive, especially when paired with other slowdown perks, which I'm assuming they mean Dying Light, Hex Pentimento, and Gift of Pain. To address this, Thanatophobia will be receiving a rework in the 6.1.2 update. Each injured, dying, or hooked survivor will now provide a 2% action speed penalty if all 4 survivors are either injured, dying, or hooked. Thanatophobia grants an additional 12% penalty to survivors' action speeds, making it 22% total. This change will make Thanatophobia nearly as potent as before if all the survivors are injured, but will require more effort on the killer's part to get full value. Alright, I'm already going to tell you that there's a massive blaring issue with this idea. Alright? The issue is, you're taking a perk that works on every killer in the game, but is exceptionally powerful on killers like Plague and Legion, and they're making it to where Thanatophobia will now literally require you to play Legion or Plague in order to get value out of it. And beyond that, think about how this is going to influence the way that a Legion player plays the game. Now they know they need to keep everybody injured at all times in order to get value out of Thanatophobia. So what are they going to do? They're going to run a button add-on to break you and keep you injured so that you can't heal, and they're going to Feral Frenzy much more often over and over again to delay the game as long as humanly possible. That's how the update to this perk is going to influence their playstyle. Now, on the flip side to that, the perk will no longer work basically at all if they tunnel someone out of the game. So at least there is one upside to it. Let's take a look at how I reworked Thanatophobia months ago when they first announced that they were going to be making these changes in the first place. Okay, so Thanatophobia was already one of the most used perks in the game before the update, which is why I always found it weird that they decided to buff it. My change was when a survivor is within 8 meters of an injured survivor, they constantly hear the killer's terror radius and their skill check success zones are reduced by 40%. It's a much simpler change, and if you take into consideration what it's doing, it actually could potentially be stronger than Thanatophobia is right now. The difference is that my change is much more interesting and doesn't encourage an incredibly boring playstyle like the current Thanatophobia does. So in short, all of this change is really going to do is it's going to incentivize Plagues and Legions to still use this perk, getting nearly as much value as they get out of it right now. So that's a huge negative. The best way I can describe this change is just saying it's irrelevant, because they're not fixing the problem at all. Unironically, they would probably be more of a fix to this if they made it to where when all 4 survivors were injured, it didn't work anymore. So this change is going to make Legions play more boring than they already do, Feral Frenzying more often and using a button to break you. But more than that, I would say significantly more than that, you're going to see more Plagues because they're the only ones that are basically guaranteed value out of this perk, as if you do decide to heal yourself, she gets incredibly strong for it. Okay, this is an interesting one. Now we have Mettle of Man. With the Endurance status effect updated, Mettle of Man continues to be an outlier. While it provides a similar effect to Endurance, the perk currently does not deactivate when performing a conspicuous action. This is by design, which is reflected in the perk's description not mentioning Endurance. Since activating Mettle of Man is so difficult, it wouldn't be fair to lose your hard-earned protection so easily. We wanted to clear up this inconsistency and give Mettle of Man a slight rework while we're at it. Taking 2 protection hits will now activate Mettle of Man, granting the Endurance status effect. While the Endurance status effect is active, your aura will be revealed to the killer when they are further than 16 meters away. Like other endurance effects, performing a conspicuous action will cause it to deactivate prematurely, and it will not protect you from entering the dying state if you already have deep wounds. With this change, Mettle of Man will now work exactly like other endurance perks, forcing the survivor to make a choice between saving their Mettle of Man and working on generators. Since this will make it a little weaker, we have reduced the number of protection hits required to compensate. The aura reading effect is also active immediately rather than you having to heal, allowing the killer to anticipate Mettle of Man and plan accordingly. We believe these changes will make the perk both easier to use and more interesting to play around. This could be interesting. I don't really have a deep opinion on it yet. I think that it's okay that Mettle of Man is getting some kind of change, because as it stands right now, I think it's a very pointless perk and you almost never see it. I don't really have an issue with the perk because I feel like the trade-off for it is fair. The effort you put in to unlock the perk is worth a free body block, I guess. So I don't really think it's going to be that problematic, but that's just my initial reaction. We'll definitely see how this one plays out, but no strong opinion on it yet. I just think that it's okay that the perk's getting changed from what it is now. Next up, we have Pain Resonance, Merciless Storm, and Dead Man Switch all combined together for some reason, so I think this is probably going to have something to do with camping. Pain Resonance was changed such that it no longer forces survivors to momentarily stop repairing the generator. This effectively prevented the perk from activating Dead Man Switch on its own. The killer would need to chase them off of the gen manually. However, this change caused an unexpected combination to appear. Since the newer version allowed the survivor to continue working on the generator, Merciless Storm would continue spawning an excessive amount of skill checks, nearly 40 after the generator regresses. To remedy this, we are restoring Pain Resonance as generator interruption, though the killer will still not receive a notification. This will cause Merciless Storm to no longer combo with Pain Resonance. That said, this would bring back the combo of Pain Resonance and Dead Man Switch. Therefore, we will be reducing the duration of Dead Man Switch to 30 seconds in order to make the perk combo less oppressive than it previously was. Guys, okay, what you're doing here, like legitimately no joke, is you're taking something that is super RNG dependent, right? Activating Pain Resonance with Merciless Storm is super RNG dependent, extremely RNG dependent. You very, 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 very rarely have ever seen this happen. Almost never. And as a response to this, you're going to make Pain Resonance combo with Dead Man Switch again, which is by far more powerful, and also reducing the cooldown of Dead Man Switch to 30 seconds is going to make it to where the perk can activate even more often. So if you're getting downs faster, it's going to be even more difficult. Again, solo queue players are, this is a problem with solo queue players. They're too stupid to get off the gen. So it makes this activate. Guys, can somebody call Scott Yound and ask him to make a video telling people that they need to stop working on the generator when they see the aura pop up that their teammate is about to be hooked? Because we need people to understand that if they get off the generator before Pain Resonance activates, then Dead Man Switch won't combo with it. So yeah, instantly we're back to Pain Resonance and Dead Man Switch comboing, and only Plague and Legion using Thanatophobia. So we've already basically took the changes that they made and reverted them back to what they already were.
Matchmaking incentives awarded with blah blah blah, blah blah blah, with minimal blah. These incentives are not really intended, granting 100% bonus blood points to survivors all times, including never mortified by the killer. The 6.1 point drop date is currently planned to release this week. We'll continue monitoring feedback on the mid-chapter changes and adjusting as necessary in future updates. As always, please be sure to share your thoughts once you've had a chance to give them a try. Until next time, sincerely, the Dead by Daylight team, go fuck yourself.
Don't get me wrong, there are good things about the Thanatophobia change. One, if you tunnel someone out of the game, you basically lose all value from Thanatophobia. That's a good change. But what isn't a good change is making it to where Legion and Plague are the only killers who get value out of it, as they're basically the only two killers who are making it so frustrating and boring to play against in the first place. Well, I gotta be honest, guys, I think overall this is a little bit of a misstep. It's not that there aren't problems here a little bit, but these solutions again are missing the mark in my opinion. I feel like behavior needs like a council of tryhards. They need to take like 12 tryhards from the community that are not biased towards one side or the other side, and have them like collectively review every change they're going to make, because I think that that council of tryhards would make way better choices than behavior it makes internally. But we'll see how it all plays out. Let me know what you guys think, and as always, thanks for watching and have a good one.